From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, expecting lots of sunshine. It'll be a warm day as well. We'll see a high around 63. Tonight, increasing cloud cover taking place with low near 38. And tomorrow, probably sunny skies becoming mainly cloudy skies. In the afternoon, we'll see a high around 55. And meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Why wait until Friday to start your weekend?
Go ahead, start right now.
You're thirsty now, and 93.7 The Ticket is here to help you stock up.
Just in time for the weekend when I like to get the clubs.
Time to broaden your horizons and try some new wine and beer. It's Thirsty Thursday with Kevin Meyer from Meyer's Cork and Bottle.
Now, Austin, you got to give me your best strict impersonation when I open this bottle.
Oh, there it is. Break it, Kevin.
I hope you're listening strictly. Love you, buddy.
Strictly handling business. I'm Austin Norman. He is Kevin Meyer of Myers Cork and Bottle 13th and South Street here in Lincoln. Kevin, just you and me today. Welcome in. Studio's all to ourselves.
Just means more for us. That's all it does.
It absolutely does. I did start day drinking a little bit before, as those who were listening during On the Block would know, but this is on the this is not On the Block. This is old school, normally the realm of DP&J, but today it's the Kevin Meyer and Austin Norman show.
Hey,
I can stick around.
Well, I can't really stick around, but I'll stick around as long as I can. So I'll try not to get too long-winded in the process. But I see you're having a little coffee beer over here.
A little coffee beer indeed, courtesy of our friends at the Mill and Imperium Brewing.
You let me have a taste.
I did. What did you think?
I liked it. The coffee is very subtle, so it doesn't overpower the beer, which I like. We've talked about balance and how that's very important in anything beverage related, and it definitely has nice balance.
And we both smelled like alcohol when we ran into each other here in the studio. I've been day drinking, and you had something going on at the store.
Yeah, so one of my reps was in, and he was showing around town a bottle of champagne that is new to the market, and it had a temporary cork on it, and so he went to pick it up, and the cork just fell right out. And the bottle hit the floor and exploded all over the left side of my body. So I'm completely soaked in champagne right now. And I can't say that it's a very pleasant feeling, but at least it's warm outside.
You get soaked in champagne. I get soaked in baby throw, which I've been told is the champagne of milk.
It is probably the champagne of milk. It's been a while since I've experienced that, but those are the memories of what helps you grow as a person, as a man, as a father. And I always say you love the things the most that you work the hardest for, and that's certainly true with kids. So props to you for being a good dad and taking one for the team.
I've taken my fair share. My wife has taken her fair share. But I get rewarded for it on Thirsty Thursday.
Indeed.
So I see the Mad Scientist brand back here. Are we starting with the wine? Are we starting with the beer?
I think we should start with the wine because I don't think the beer is going to set this wine up very well.
Okay. This would not be a strict pick. It is a white. It is a Chardonnay.
A Chardonnay. And this is from Charles Smith out of Washington State. It's called Substance. And it has the label that kind of looks like the periodic table. It's got the CH on there. We did the CS last week. The CH obviously stands for Chardonnay. The CS doesn't stand for Charles Smith. It actually stands for Cabernet Sauvignon. But we talked about how he's, like I said, a bit of a mad scientist. He's a bit of a barrel geek. And so we're going to try his Chardonnay and see what you think.
That's good.
It is.
You said
good.
we have to have the Chardonnay discussion. We'll get to that in a sec. But
yes,
incredibly smooth. I like that. You definitely, obviously, it's a white. It feels like a white.
Very clean.
Very clean.
Yes.
Not a lot of residuals. Not a lot of legs.
Right. And this one, to me tastes like it's just lightly oaked, if any oak at all. So we talked about sort of off the air the Chardonnay discussion, and what does that mean? Well, basically, the grape itself originates in the Burgundy region in France, which is a vertical, long, skinny region on the east central part of the country. And essentially, when you're drinking a white Burgundy, you're drinking Chardonnay, and when you drink a red Burgundy, you're drinking Pinot Noir. And there's a couple of main differences between typically like a California Napa Valley Chardonnay and a French white Burgundy. And for starters, basically in the 80s, wine producers decided that Chardonnay was going to be kind of the great American white wine, but they wanted it to have its own identity. And so what they did, they started essentially making it like they were making it red. And that process is more than twofold, but there's two main differences. So for starters, with white wines, there's no skin maceration. The juice is immediately separated from the skins. But secondly, the natural acidity in the wine is called malic acid, and that's that crisp, zippy, zingy mouthfeel that you get.
You definitely get that with this.
You get that with this. It's very clean. And what they started doing was converting the acid type into lactose or lactic acid, same acid type found in milk. The other thing they started doing that the French don't do is putting in a new oak barrel. And generally speaking, the French will, if they put their white in any oak at all, it's neutral oak. And those are barrels that have been used over and over again, so they don't impart the flavor into the wine like a new barrel would. Well, the California, especially the Napa Valley producers, started putting it in a new oak barrel and also putting it under this malolactic fermentation. Why would you do that? Well, with the red, it makes sense because we talked pretty at length about tannins in red wine before and how that comes from the grape skin. So generally white wines do not have that. And so what they do, they put the red wines through that process, that malolactic fermentation. It doesn't create any alcohol, but it changes acidity. And so when you have firm tannins and high levels of malic acid, that wine is not going to have a great mouthfeel. It's going to be kind of sharp. It's going to be harsh. It's going to be a little bit bitter, a little bit gritty. And so essentially they do it just not to change the flavor in the wine, but just to change the texture of it. And so they adopted that process with Chardonnay in California wines. Now this one seems a little more Burgundy in style. It's more crisp. It's more clean. You don't get a lot of oak, and you're tasting the grape, which I actually like a lot because sometimes wines can be over processed where you get to the point where you're no longer tasting the grape as much. You're just tasting more of the processing. And to me, that takes the wine out of balance, which it shouldn't be. It should, have that kiss of the oak, a kiss of the butter, a kiss of the fruit, a kiss of the acidity, and all of those factors are in harmony with each other. So
how very American to overprocess something, but this
Indeed,
definitely
yes.
isn't. This is, I think, crisp and clean are the best ways to describe it. You get that zippiness, kind of that acid. Like if I had something, I know that you pair reds with steaks, heavier meats typically, but to me, this is acidic enough without being overbearing that it would cut through some heavier foods.
I agree. And, the thing about acidity in wine is that it also loves acidity in food.
Sure.
And the Italians are famous for that because a lot of their cuisine is tomato based. So that obviously has a lot of acid in it. And so their wines, they leave the natural acidity alone because when you pair them together with the food, we've talked about this before too, where the whole becomes greater than the sum of the parts. And so the wine brings the food up a level, the food brings the wine up a level. And so in wine pairing, it's just kind of a good rule of thumb is acidity loves acidity. In a wine like this, there's enough body there that you could do something a little richer, like maybe a scallops or a crab legs or a lobster tail or something along those lines. But a lot of times too, when you're doing something that is very rich and savory like that, you need a wine that's going to match that richness. Otherwise the wine overpowers it.
You mentioned the French do it their way. The American way is maybe a little different. Obviously we know the French in champagne versus sparkling wine anywhere else.
Right.
Did the French take offense to Americans trying to do Chardonnay their own way?
Probably. It's funny. I had a customer who had visited or was in France, I believe in Paris, like at a cafe or whatever, and they were having lunch. So they just wanted kind of a light red wine, and they asked for a glass of Beaujolais, which we had the Beaujolais Nouveau comes out the third Thursday in November, the week before Thanksgiving. We talked about all that entails, And the French waiter in his sort of snooty little attitude goes, the French Coca-Cola.
He did not.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So, I believe that they probably turned their nose up at it. But there's a really interesting movie, and it has to do with what's known as the Taste of Paris. And it happened in the 70s. And basically, these world-renowned sommeliers got all of these wine producers together from all over the world, and they had a competition. And it turns out the American wines won. It was Chateau Montelena.
USA.
That's right. And it was a completely blind tasting, and Chateau Montelena won for the Chardonnay, and Stag's Leap won for the Cabernet against all those world-renowned Bordeaux's and Burgundies. So it's a movie called Bottle Shock. It's a fictional representation of the movie, but it's super entertaining and kind of tells the whole story. And it's really what put California on the winemaking map. Prior to that, American wines were considered definitely inferior to European wines, and now we know they're not.
To be fair, the Europeans have had more practice, but credit America for getting good fast.
Yeah, absolutely, and and carving their own identity as well. So, I mean, part of wine is history and heritage, but a lot of it is also innovation, and so it's a delicate balance between getting away from what it should be and also staying true to your roots, but not being like everybody else. So that's it's sort of the dichotomy in the wine world.
Let's move on to the beer. Raspberry Cheesecake is a beautiful can.
It is a beautiful can. This comes from Weldworks Brewing out of Greeley, Colorado, and it is their Raspberry Cheesecake Sour Ale. And so you can sort of understand why we're doing this second and not first, because a Raspberry Cheesecake Sour Ale is probably not set up a nice dry Chardonnay very, very well. But let's give it a taste and see what you think of this.
That's good. When I go into the glass to put up to my mouth, I smell the cheesecake. I get that kind of that graham cracker crust smell and the cheesecake smell. The first thing I taste is the raspberry.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of the cheesecake
comes on the back end. Yeah. It's kind of a creaminess.
Love that balance.
Yeah. It's weird. Because it doesn't taste like it should be a beer. It tastes like it should be something else.
Kind of cidery almost.
It is cidery. And that's kind of where the sour comes in. They inoculate it with a yeast strain called Lactobacillus, or it's a bacteria that actually makes it sour. And so it sort of gives it that tart sort of funkiness, but then the cheesecake sort of softens that tartness on the back end. And you're right. I wonder if they actually do put a little graham cracker in here, because now that you say that,
it's the first thing I smelled.
You know how we were talking last week about how sort of the power of suggestion, like, because I didn't even think that it had the graham cracker, but let's see. Raspberry, cream cheese, graham cracker. Austin nailed it. Check out the big brain on Brad over here.
I made it.
Vanilla and lactose. So yeah.
This is a defining day in my life. I picked up on a flavor and a scent that the Spirits guy didn't.
There you go.
Immediately.
And
get it now.
It's well, I'm proud of you. That means you're coming a long way. Imagine when you first started with Thirsty Thursday and where you are today. I'm shedding a tear right now.
Kevin, I would have
so
made it
proud
without
of you, man.
I will never ever take you, but I've taken a step.
All right. Very
officially.
Good.
I'm not gonna lie, not a big cheesecake guy. And raspberry the fruits, like I'm not a big fruit guy either, but I like fruity drinks. So you said raspberry, I got excited. Cheesecake, I'm like, I'm skeptical. How much of the cheese are they going to work in? Again, that from the smell of the cheesecake to the initial raspberry hit to the cheesecake smoothness going down, this was a lot better. I had my expectations low, like, I'll give it a try, whatever. This is good stuff.
Yeah, and again, balanced. So the raspberry and the creaminess of the cream cheese and a little bit of the graham cracker, it doesn't, each flavor is prominent without being overbearing. And, I feel the same way about cheesecake. Like I like a bite, like I just want to try it,
Those
but
are
I don't
like tiny squares.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to eat a whole piece of it,
No.
but this is fun and different and unique. And it shows up in limited quantities. We usually only get like a case of this weird stuff at a time. We do have it singled out in the mix of 6. But you can just buy all those beers by the single. There's like 140 choices or something crazy.
That's a lot of choices.
And so if you like it, then you can come back and get a 4-pack, but it's, usually pretty limited.
There you go. Kevin Meyer, Myers Cork and Bottle with us here. Kevin, remind people where the store is and what's going on right now.
Well, we're located right on the corner of 13th and South Streets. Just look for the iconic neon out front. And, the trucks keep showing up with bigger and larger loads every week, gearing up for the holidays. We will start our holiday wine sale next week. And, basically.
Will it be started by Thirsty Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
It will start exactly a week from today. And, the thing I always tell people is that it gets harder and harder to buy gifts, especially the older you get.
Mm-hmm.
And you can never go wrong with giving somebody a nice bottle of wine. Even if they're not a big wine person, they'll appreciate it. And they'll find an occasion to open it, and then they'll remember you when they do. And so that's pretty special. So, and we've got, I think well over 1,000 wines to choose from. Ooh. And of course, all kinds of bourbons and vodkas and rums and gins and then of course I can't even count how many different beer options we have. I know there's at least 140 in the mix of 6, so there's probably 500 beer options as well. So anyway, it's a fun place to come, and it's always changing every week.
There you go. Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South here in Lincoln. Kevin, as always, appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
He's Kevin. I'm Austin. This is Old School. No DP today. Jay will be in here in just a little bit. I'll carry you through hour 1 when we get back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this holiday season at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Haviland. This week's specials through December 12th are spend $740 and get a free New York strip. Also, through the 12th, all Flavor County Farms mushrooms are $1.50 off of normal price. Don't forget their 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Constructors Inc., a Nebco company, is now hiring heavy equipment mechanics to maintain fleet equipment and vehicle operations. Constructors offers mechanics a competitive salary, 4-day work weeks with overtime options, a $5,000 hiring bonus, a tool allowance, and great benefits. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. Apply today for their mechanic positions. Visit constructorslincoln.com.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
What do you think of when you hear the chocolate season? Artisan chocolates? Of course, they have the best chocolates this side of the Atlantic. Friendly neighborhood coffee shop? Yup, they're that too. A nationally recognized top-tier brunch spot. Waffle weekends, baby. And the place to grab a gift for literally any occasion? Everybody loves chocolate. See for yourself at the Chocolate Season, 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead online at thechocolateseason.com.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Whether you're booking a trip to Lincoln for a football game or a volleyball weekend, the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus is the place for you. The Scarlet Hotel is special on many levels, from the delicious Well and Good restaurant on the main floor to the coolest rooftop patio bar in Lincoln, the Barred Owl, on the top floor of the hotel with great views of the city and one of the coolest drink menus. Book your stay or book a staycation today at scarlethotelnebraska.com.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Hay harvest is a race against time. Order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower to harvest your hay quickly and efficiently while promoting quick dry down for high-quality hay. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location for full details on a new self-propelled windrower and experience the Landmark difference.
Husker fans, the Nebraska women's basketball team battles the Indiana Hoosiers on Sunday, January 7th at Pinnacle Bank Arena, and they want to see you there. Help them pack PBA as they retire Jordan Hooper's jersey, host a team reunion for the 2013 and 2014 teams, and give your Huskers a true home court advantage. For tickets, go to huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED. Come early and get your very own replica Jordan Hooper jersey retirement banner while supplies last. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Old School on 93.7 The Ticket, as well as theticketfm.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter streams up and running for you, as is the Starter Heyman text line at 402-464-5685. Should have Jay Foreman on the Allo Fiber VIP line here shortly. He's a special guy. Appreciate Jay. Not really a special guest since it's his show, but a big special shout out to Kellyanne. Kellyanne, I hope you're still listening. You said you lived in Omaha. Hopefully you're listening on your drive. Kellyanne was nice enough to stop in between shows, between On the Block and Old School, and drop off some goodies. Not for the whole station, but for the afternoon crew. Early break gets everything. The Drive has its fan club. Y'all forget about us, or y'all don't like us. One of the two, I don't know. But Kellyanne, thank you. You brought multiple plates of cookies and goodies of all sorts. Just reading through the list of things you brought, your peanut cluster, spicy pretzels, snickerdoodles, chocolate chip cookies, vanilla chip cookies, a 7-layer bar, and then some peanut butter chew. Kellyanne, bless your heart. Thank you so very much for not forgetting about us little guys on in the afternoon. Thank you. I'm excited to dig in, and I probably should have dug in during the break. Big thanks to Kevin Meyer, Myers Cork and Bottle, as well as The Mill and their partnership with Empyrean Brewing for loosening me up a little bit. I have drank more this afternoon than I have at the station. I got the taste at 3:30, and then Kevin just came in, so I can't even blame little Beckett, my son, for a lack of sleep. if I start slurring my words or making nonsense on the air, it's because of my job. So if anything goes off the rails, blame those people, not me. I'm the victim here, right? I'm very happy with all of the different drinks that I was able to try here this afternoon, thanks to our great partners. But again, you can blame them, not me, if things go off the rails here. 402-464-5685 if you've got any thoughts on Husker football and the transfer portal, any thoughts on Jim Harbaugh and Michigan working on offering him a 5-year, $11 million per year extension. Any thoughts on the Juan Soto trade to New York? We haven't touched on that. I'll probably do that coming up next in our short segment. But let's go to our comment section. We have a couple people here on YouTube asking questions. We have Russell and Robert. Russell, I will address your question first. He asks, why is Nebraska not going after a quarterback coach? I'm not so sure Nebraska's not going after a quarterback coach. I know there hasn't been a lot of chatter about that. I know it hasn't been out in the, ecosystem, in the atmosphere of the Husker football dialogue so far this offseason. But I wouldn't be shocked to see Nebraska make that move. Lest we forget, Marcus Satterfield, who ended up as the quarterback's coach and offensive coordinator, was originally slated to coach tight ends. If Matt Rule had his way and things had worked perfectly, Jake Peetz would have been the quarterback's coach at Nebraska. He was the offensive coordinator with LSU for a time. He's entering his second year now with the Rams as a passing game specialist and analyst sort of role for the Los Angeles Rams. But Jake Peetz was Matt Rule's target for a quarterback's coach. Nebraska and Matt Rule, I think, recognized the importance of that role and that they needed a coach. Now, Marcus Satterfield has done it before, but he was supposed to be the tight ends coach. Well, Nebraska swings and misses on Jake Peetz. He's with the Rams, of course. So Marcus Satterfield slides up into that role. And then Nebraska's tight ends coach was Bob Wager, who ended up resigning, I think it was in fall camp or right before the season started. So Nebraska elevated Josh Martin into that role. Josh Martin had coached at Arizona State and at SMU, but he was an analyst on the staff who got elevated into that role. So if Nebraska wants to keep him around in that role, great. But Nebraska will have to find a way to free up one coaching position, right? You only get the 10 countable coaches. Nebraska's at that limit. They'll have to reshuffle or reassign if they want to get a quarterback's coach. But I absolutely think it's worthwhile for Nebraska to do. And I think any transfer portal quarterback will look at the coaching situation, will look at the skill position talent situation, will look at the offensive line situation, the bodies they have back, the bodies they're pursuing potentially, and make a decision based off of that. Which leads us into the question from Robert on the YouTube stream, and then 1256, who asked on the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. Russell, no, I haven't heard any candidates. There's a handful of guys I think could be good in that role, but I don't want to speculate here and start rumors. But in terms of the quarterback, not the quarterback's coach, but the actual signal caller for Nebraska, there has been a lot of smoke around Kyle McCord. I think there's a legit connection there. I believe there's reciprocal interest. We'll see if Nebraska is able to close the deal. Hypothetically, if it is Kyle McCord, I'm on board with that. He's not CJ Stroud. He's not Justin Fields. He's not Cardale Jones, Dwayne Haskins, which is why I think he gets a bit of a bad rap, or not necessarily the game changer those guys have been, especially given the weapons that Ohio State has even this year. Harrison Jr., we know, going to New York. He'll be on the Heisman show on Saturday. Emeka Egbuka, good. Cade Stover, really solid tight end. And the when healthy, solid backfield of Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams there in the backfield. Not like Ohio State didn't have weapons, but Kyle McCord's just not the same level of quarterback as Ohio State's been used to, but he's still really good, right? He's still, I think it was a high 4-star prospect coming out of high school, out of Pennsylvania. There's a reason that Nebraska, or Ohio State rather, targeted him, and there's a reason Nebraska is going after him. I think he would be a good fit in the pro-style system that it seems like Marcus Satterfield wants to run. We'll see if Matt Rule's on board with that. I assume he would have to be if he's making these visits and signing off on the guy that would quarterback his second team. I like the idea of a guy like Kyle McCord, more that true pocket passer, an accurate passer. a smart decision maker, a quick processor for two reasons. Number one, it improves the pass game. I think Kyle McCord can throw guys open, will put the ball on time, on target consistently, which is huge. But almost more important, if not just equally as important, is that bringing in a quarterback like Kyle McCord would force Nebraska to build and rebuild a traditional run game. I know in the 402, in the 308, and wherever Husker Nation is across the world, not just the country, we're a sucker for some good quarterback run because of what happened in the 90s, because of how Coach Devaney and Coach Osborne built up those teams to winning national championships. Because in this day and age, having a mobile quarterback is important. Having guys that can extend plays, that can run for first downs, beat a spy, make him miss. It's exciting and it's fun. What Nebraska hasn't had a lot of in its history, and what I think Nebraska needs right now for the type of offense that Marcus Satterfield has designed, is the quick processing, accurate guy with a big enough arm to push the ball downfield when necessary. Kyle McCord, to me, is similar to Tanner Lee, but should be better, right? Didn't start at Tulane, started at Ohio State. That's a feather in Kyle McCord's cap. But a guy that maybe processes a little faster, a little more accurate, spreads the ball around. I think Nebraska could put some games on Kyle McCord's arm and feel like it. Maybe an Aiden O'Connell type, maybe not quite as accurate. Nebraska wouldn't be quite as pass heavy as Purdue got to. But I love the idea of a quarterback at Nebraska who is a good to great passer, puts the ball on time on target, elevates his receiving core, and makes Nebraska run the ball with a running back. It's been a while since Nebraska's had a 1,000-yard back since Devine Zigbo. He was the last one. I think for Nebraska to consistently have success, it needs a quarterback who is pass first, who is make the correct decision first, who prevents disaster by making the right read, on time on target first, and then trusting that offensive line and leaning on that offensive line to open up running lanes for a running back. I am, to some degree, we all should be, right? A sucker for a Patrick Mahomes, Caleb Williams, even Drake May, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen type of quarterback that have the big arm, that are accurate. Jalen Hurts, I'll throw into that conversation. They're fun, right? They can make any play in the book. They're absolute game changers. But you know who else is a game changer? Joe Burrow. I think Nebraska is looking for, again, ideally, that sort of pocket passer who can spread the ball around, that doesn't have to take hits, in the run game, can save that physical exertion and energy and turn it into that mental processing skill to read a defense pre-snap, to get guys in the right positions, to make the correct read on time, on target, and that will elevate both the run game and the pass game. So I'm a big fan of the idea of Kyle McCord. But of course, Robert, you asked about him specifically, and on the text line, it was 1256 who asks, can you run down who Nebraska was after for quarterbacks? There's a great list. So Sam McEwen has been on the Husker Extra Hour here recently on 93.7 The Ticket, 4 to 5 Sunday afternoons. He did a really good job, a great overview of who Nebraska is potentially targeting at the quarterback position. We know that the Nebraska plane has been to Columbus, Ohio to visit Kyle McCord. We know that Nebraska has been down to Waco. That's where Baylor's located, Matt Rule's old stomping grounds, to visit with Blake Shapen, who is the starter at Baylor the last few years, got 1 year of eligibility left. Accurate guy, completed 64% of his passes, 36 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. Back to my point, Sam has a write-up on all these guys on omaha.com, but I'll kind of run down the highlights here. Blake Shapen, not the biggest guy at 6 foot, 205, in that 205 to 210 range, not the fleetest of foot, but an elite arm talent. I'm not just using that word because it's a Matt Rule word. Blake Shapen was an MLB draft prospect playing baseball. Could run that fastball up into the 90s as a high schooler. Can make pretty much every throw in the book, on platform, off platform. I think that's an intriguing fit that would be similar to Kyle McCord, maybe with a bigger arm and maybe slightly less decision-making. So Blake Shapen's a target. The first guy Nebraska visited, also in Big 12 country, just a couple and a half hours down the road in the Little Apple, Will Howard. Will Howard has had a lot of suitors. He was, of course, the Kansas State starting quarterback. Did just get overtaken by a younger player this year. I think Will Howard compares pretty comparably to potentially a Chubba Purdy, maybe a little bit bigger than Chubba Purdy is, a little bit stronger, maybe a little bit more of an arm. Not as high a completion percentage. He's at just about 60% in his career. 67 total touchdowns, not just passing, to 25 interceptions. Will Howard's a bit of a risk taker. I think he fits in the mold of maybe like a Devin Leary, potentially a Brennan Armstrong, maybe with a little bit more mobility. Will Howard would be a fun get that Nebraska's visited. You look also at Cameron Ward, who was the guy that Nebraska flew out to Pullman to see. Cam Ward, of course, started his career down at Incarnate Word in Texas at the FCS level, moved up to Washington State, that air raid system under Mike Leach and Jake Dickert, not Mike Leach, who installed it, but Jake Dickert, who was the head coach recently. Cam Ward is an intriguing arm talent, probably the most mobile of all these guys. It's a toss-up between him and Howard. They're different runners. The issue that Husker fans will take with Cam Ward has nothing to do with the arm, has nothing to do with the processing ability. It would have to do with the fumbles. He's fumbled 18 times in the last 2 years. He's 6'2", 235. Some of it's pocket awareness. Some of it is on the scrambles, being a little loose with the ball. I know Husker fans have issues with quarterbacks that are fumbling. So Cam Ward is an intriguing target. Ohio State was rumored to be in on him at some point. Maybe they've backed off their interest a little bit, but I think Nebraska has given Cam Ward an interesting decision to make. And then the other guy in that group of quarterbacks that Nebraska's looked at is a little bit different. Those previous four guys that I mentioned would be essentially day one starters, pretty much every single one of them. The guy that might come in and start, but probably would be a more developmental guy on the same track as a lot of Nebraska's skill position talent is Sam Leavitt. He's a backup quarterback at Michigan State who went through three quarterbacks. They started the year with DP's guy, Noah Kim. They went to Caton Hauser and then to Sam Leavitt, who had a touchdown pass against Nebraska. Leavitt out of Oregon, I believe he is, out of the Pacific Northwest for sure. Had some good offers, had Oregon State and Washington offers, I believe. Pretty highly rated 4-star guy that saw the field a little bit at Michigan State. Good arm talent, mobile enough, can throw on the run. So in a perfect world, what happens for Nebraska is they get one of those first four guys, and they're also able to close the deal with a Sam Leavitt to come in, learn the ropes for a year under one of these bridge guys, and then compete with whoever else is on the roster, whether that's Daniel Kalin, another transfer portal guy, a younger guy on the roster. My ideal situation for Nebraska is you go get either Shapen or McCord, and then also Leavitt to back them up. If Chubba Purdy sticks around and you don't get a Sam Leavitt as a backup, that's fine. If Heinrich Harburg sticks around as a backup, I don't love the difference in stylistic fit there, but maybe you can make it work if Will Howard is your guy and Heinrich Harburg is your backup. But for me, my guys in the portal, either McCord or Shapen. I'm happy enough with either one of those. Too many fumbles from Ward, and I just don't think Howard's necessarily attainable. But then go get Leavitt, right, as the backup to sit for a year. Like I think the plan was for Chubba Purdy, for Casey Thompson to come in for a year, have a good year, test the NFL waters, move on, and then have Chubba Purdy take over. Not how it happened for Nebraska, but this program gets a do-over at that style of transfer portal recruiting, and we'll go from there. We'll see what Nebraska is able to do in the portal. A lot of intriguing options for not only the quarterback, but the quarterback coach that we led off this segment with. And we're waiting a call from Jay Foreman, the Husker Hall of Famer, helping out somewhere else right now. He'll be in the next 10, 20 minutes or so, whether it's on the phone or in studio where he'll be eventually. I'm holding down the fort as Austin Orman. Jay Foreman will be in shortly. This is Old School, brought to you by the Mercado Certified Piedmontese. Every type of meat, every type of cut. 2 Lincoln locations. First one at 84th and Havelock. The second one at 30th and Yankee Hill. We'll throw it to break, wrap up hour one of Old School on the other side.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Concrete Industries, a Nebco company, has immediate job openings for precast production laborers. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $20 per hour and a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer. Visit concreteindustries.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. The holidays are here, and Fairway has everything you need for charcuterie boards, shrimp trays, party platters, wine, beer, spirits, and more. Plus, custom fresh cuts on USDA choice or prime grade beef, all natural pork, fresh chicken, and seafood. Your holiday meals start at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Muchachos has been Lincoln's leader for New Mexican barbecue for a few years now, and they've expanded into Omaha. That's right, you can get all your favorites like the pipeline burrito with 3 meats, rice, beans, queso, and crushed chips, or any of their great taco options in Lincoln or Omaha. Plus, they want to give back, as the Malachi Coleman Giverito, a 2-meat hatchback burrito, gives proceeds to the Fly Like Kai Foundation for the Lincoln foster care community. Stop by Muchachos in Lincoln at 11th and L or in Omaha at 1258 South 13th Street.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Constructors Inc., a Nebco company, is now hiring heavy equipment mechanics to maintain fleet equipment and vehicle operations. Constructors offers mechanics a competitive salary, 4-day work weeks with overtime options, a $5,000 hiring bonus, a tool allowance, and great benefits. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. Apply today for their mechanic positions. Visit ConstructorsLincoln.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting lots of sunshine. It'll be a warm day as well. We'll see a high of around 63. Tonight, increasing cloud cover taking place with a low near 38. And tomorrow, partly sunny skies becoming mainly cloudy skies in the afternoon. We'll see a high of around 55. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Y'all are great on the Starter Heyman video streams. Comment section, YouTube. You guys are popping off Twitch and Facebook as well as the text line, 402-464-5685. I'm Austin Norman, holding down the fort until Jay Foreman gets in. DP out today, but Jay will be in too. Talk some transfer portal, maybe talk some NBA in-season tournament, all sorts of stuff going on in the wide world of sports. I am kind of surprised Nick and I didn't get to any Juan Soto to the Yankees news, but maybe that's tomorrow. But right now, let's go back to the comment section. Y'all are on fire as it regards the Husker football transfer portal. Russell, appreciate you starting this conversation. You throw out there Grayson McCall. That'd be fun. Absolutely a fun, like maybe the number one vibes option. Grayson McCall had a legendary Twitter announcement when he said he was going back to Coastal Carolina before last season. The idea of Grayson McCall is fun. I don't know if Nebraska has much interest in him. Russell, you also ask, if you're any of the quarterbacks, wouldn't you want to know your quarterback's coach? Absolutely you do, right? And that's why Nebraska's in a bit of a tricky spot, why I'm a little confused. Maybe just I'm raising my eyebrows at Nebraska not making any of these coaching staff decisions, before they had to go after guys in the transfer portal. Now, it hasn't been long since Black Friday, but it's been enough time to make those moves, to start working on them, during the season. Agree in principle, agree to contracts, have a dedicated quarterbacks coach. Maybe Marcus Satterfield gives up the offensive coordinator title, but I doubt it. I guess he would be OC and tight ends. But to get a dedicated quarterbacks coach in the building, I think that'd be huge. I think that'd be big for whoever Nebraska brings in, and I think any of those guys that are targets would want it. And then to the text line at 402-464-5685, 6184. I don't know if you're calling me Big Cat or if you want to be referred to as Big Cat. But you say you need a quarterback that can move feet and run. Don't want to shape and he'll get sacked 50 times if he can't move unless the offensive line gets 100% better. I see where you're coming from, and I think you're scarred by some leaky or inconsistent recent Nebraska offensive lines, and that's fair. I think there are different ways I think when you say move a feet and run, those are different things, right? Nebraska quarterbacks, it's been a long time since you've seen a Nebraska quarterback with consistent pocket presence. A lot of Nebraska quarterbacks' pocket presence is to bail, to step up and run, instead of to step up in the pocket when the defensive end loops around the offensive tackles on the outside, or to sidestep in the pocket if a guard or the center gets beat. Nebraska quarterback's pocket presence has been, I see there's a guy on me, I'm going to run. What I think Nebraska needs is a guy who can sit in the pocket, who can tell his offensive line exactly where his 3, 5, and 7-step drops are going to end. So they know how to set their angle. So they know how to attack a guy and handle a defensive end or a linebacker when they come at him. Because, yes, having a guy that can run is nice. But I think Nebraska has leaned too far in the run-first quarterback direction at the expense of far too much accuracy and at the expense of far too much pocket presence in its quarterbacks. Having a guy that can, scramble for a first down on 3rd and 4 plus is nice, and I think Shapen can do that. I think McCord can do that. But I don't think Nebraska can afford to base its run game on the quarterback position any longer. I want a guy whose first instinct is to step up in the pocket and keep his eyes downfield rather than turn his eyes to the spy and say, I'm going to run it. I think that would do Nebraska's receivers a lot of good, tight ends a lot of good, and would simplify the roles for the offensive line and would make the running game better because Nebraska would have to focus on running the ball with a running back. The other thing is that if a guy can't move in the pocket, if he's stone-footed and can't read the offensive line, he's going to get sacked no matter how well he can run. But I think with a guy like Shapen, with a guy like McCord, you might see Nebraska turn to some more quick passing game where the ball's out inside that 2.5-second window. At least in the NFL, a pass rush win for an offensive lineman is described as when an offensive lineman doesn't allow pressure in the first 2.5 seconds of a snap. If Nebraska can get the ball out before that, that's where I think a Billy Kemp type would be fine, would be fun, where he can win his route early. If defending cornerbacks are pressing Malachi Coleman and Jalen Lloyd, their first, second, and third steps are already past their guy, and the quarterback can throw that ball up for grabs a little bit. It's a deep ball, but it comes out early. So, yes, if a guy can't move, if a guy can't read a defense or can't feel the pocket collapsing, he's going to get sacked 50 times, whether or not he can run for 1,000 yards or not. But I think McCord has good enough pocket presence. I think Shapen has good enough pocket presence. I think Cam Ward does. Will Howard, Sam Levitt probably does, can probably grow into more. But I think all of those guys have more of a presence in the pocket that would help simplify roles for Nebraska's wide receivers and open up the playbook to things that Nebraska just hasn't been able to do consistently, if at all, over the last handful of years. Keep your texts coming here on the quarterback position. Other potential positions of need for Nebraska football in the transfer portal, 402-464-5685 if you want to use the Sartor Heyman text line, or if you're on stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, drop a comment there. We'll see it and get to it. I'm just holding down the fort till Jay Foreman gets in. I believe we're expecting a call from the Husker Hall of Famer. It is his show after all, so if Jay's on the line, we'll talk with him. He'll be in studio to round out the hour. If not, you're stuck with me, probably talking more Nebraska football, transfer portal, ideas, ideals, what we want for Nebraska to accomplish, and more. This is Old School, brought to you by the Mercado on 93.7 The Ticket.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Load up on meat and more this holiday season at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Haviland. This week's specials through December 12th are spend $740 and get a free New York strip. Also, through the 12th, all Flavor County Farms mushrooms are $1.50 off of normal price. Don't forget their 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Muchachos has been Lincoln's leader for New Mexican barbecue for a few years now, and they've expanded into Omaha. That's right, you can get all your favorites like the pipeline burrito with 3 meats, rice, beans, queso, and crushed chips, or any of their great taco options in Lincoln or Omaha. Plus, they want to give back, as the Malachi Coleman Give-A-Rito, a 2-meat hatchback burrito, gives proceeds to the Fly Like Kai Foundation for the Lincoln foster care community. Stop by Muchachos in Lincoln at 11th and L or in Omaha at 1258 South 13th Street.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers, and if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Don't miss the most innovative ag technology that exists today on display in Lincoln at the Nebraska Ag Expo, the second largest indoor ag show in the U.S., December 5th, 6th, and 7th. Check out all the latest technology in row crop and livestock production, robotics, and more at the expanded Innovation Hub. Mark your calendar. That's December 5th, 6th, and 7th. Register online at nebraskaagexpo.com to get your tickets in advance and save $5. See you in Lincoln. The Nebraska Ag Expo is sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Hay harvest is a race against time. Order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower to harvest your hay quickly and efficiently while promoting quick dry down for high-quality hay. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location for full details on a new self-propelled windrower and experience the Landmark difference.
Constructors Inc., a Nebco company, is now hiring heavy equipment mechanics to maintain fleet equipment and vehicle operations. Constructors offers mechanics a competitive salary, 4-day work weeks with overtime options, a $5,000 hiring bonus, a tool allowance, and great benefits. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. Apply today for their mechanic positions. Visit constructorslincoln.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Old School, brought to you by the Mercado Certified Piedmontese. Every single type of meat, every single type of cut, with 2 Lincoln locations now. It's 84th and Havelock on the northeast side of town, and then the south side of town has their location at 30th and Yankee Hill. Tomorrow is Friday. It's Good Sense Friday here, but for the rest of you, make it a Mercado sort of day, right? Go get their Friday lunch special at their south location, 30th and Yankee Hill. Check them out on Instagram to figure out what that Friday lunch special is. It is first come, first serve. It's not all day. It's a limited sort of selection to make sure you find your way down to the Mercado at 30th and Yankee Hill. We also, here at The Ticket, need to shout out Kellyanne. Kellyanne, bless your heart, bless your soul. Thank you so much for the 2 plates of goodies. One of them is not for me or for any of us. They're for the Husker Hall of Famer we'll bring in here in just a sec. Jay Foreman got his own plate of cookies, but for the rest of the 93.7 The Ticket staff that's not a part of Early Break, because as Kellyanne noted, they don't share, brought in a plate of goodies, 7 different types of goodies. Kellyanne, from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of the afternoon staff's heart, we truly appreciate it. Let's go to our VIP line brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We welcome in number 56, number 44, the host of this show. Welcome him into his own show, Mr. Jay Foreman. Jay, what's up? What's on your mind?
Not too much. What's up with you guys?
Not a lot. Spent a lot of time talking transfer portal. And does Nebraska have a guy in the roster that might transfer that's going to hurt? We've talked a lot of quarterback. We've talked a lot of, group of 5 versus power 5 transfers. And regardless, Nebraska's active in the transfer portal. There's not a lot of room on the roster, but I think that's what makes the evaluation so important, right? What does Nebraska truly need versus what does Nebraska truly want, and what does it think it can get out of guys already on the roster?
Yeah, I mean, that's the, million-dollar question, chicken and egg question, juice in the squeeze, because you got to make sure that you evaluate a little bit better than we did in the past and really allow some of the evaluations that we had last year mature. Everybody's looking at the transfer portal. They have this misconception that whoever you get in the transfer portal is going to be instant success. Those are few and far between in rare cases. A lot of times, if there's not a lot of tape or experience or production, you got to really foster those athletes and develop them both on and off the field. And when you go from one program to another, there is a transition time. And depending on when they are on campus, that can speed it up or, keep it at a little bit of a snail's pace. So, I think, roster turnover and attrition is always going to be there. And I'm sure as you get through spring ball and all that stuff, and you can carry more guys on, until you get to, fall camp next year and people make decisions, that'll all handle itself out. I don't think that, Nebraska plans on trying to show up with 135 guys when you only can have, 85 on the roster. So, look, they're in a good position. Obviously quarterback is where they've been really active and trying to be a strong player in that market, which is good because, they feel it's a need they need to address. They're actively going out and doing it. And then the better part for Nebraska, there's a lot more choices, in my opinion, that they have probably more intel on, because they're in college football and they've been, through it a whole year, that they can make it maybe a little bit better choice. And so it's not only the quarterback position. If they have to, address maybe linebacker to get a veteran to replace some of the guys that they had, some of the guys on the team presently haven't made, decisions either way. At least I haven't heard, when you think of Isaac Gifford, Bullock, and all those guys that played, integral parts in the success of the team this year, you got to plan accordingly. And, those conversations are probably ongoing, but you also got to plan, your team. Business needs to be ran and things need to be done. So, I think when you think about where Nebraska's at, they're in a better position than people would think at being 5 and 7, I think, you have right now, since Jeff Sims is in the portal, you got 2 guys that had a lot of starting experience last year in Heinrich Harburg and Chuba Purdy. So, as long as, they can stay and potentially, battle out for a position or potentially, transfer or provide depth. But then if you go out and get 1 or 2 quarterbacks in the portal along with Daniel Kalen, you all of a sudden your room becomes, instead of being an uneasy spot, it becomes something that's a little bit of an advantage. So, look, it's onward and upward. There's a lot of decisions to be made. None of them are going to be made as quick as people would like. They're doing a lot of fact finding. I mean, look, ultimately, you could want any of the quarterbacks in the portal to come to Nebraska, right? Nebraska would be like, oh, we want you, but it's got to be a mutual decision. And are they coming for the right reasons, right? Are they coming for the quote unquote bag and sometimes then get here and lose interest in becoming the player that, they thought and hoped they would be? Or are you coming here, embracing the opportunity and laying a foundation for yourself for years to come and be a part of the, the turnaround and success of Nebraska in this new age of college football? Because with the addition of the teams from the Pac-12, bringing, there's 18 teams in there, there's no division. Ultimately, this is the time that where if you want to make a move, it's right there. If you start to get some positive stuff out in the win and loss column and possibly point towards getting into the dance, which is a 12-team playoff, anything can happen. And that's how you do it. It's a step-by-step process. But one of the steps, which is a huge deal now in college football, is recruiting. And it's not just high school kids. It's a transfer portal. We talked about it yesterday that, the early signing period was the big deal a couple of years ago. Now it's like nobody's even thinking about it. Everybody's focused on the transfer portal, who's in there, where they're going, when decisions are going to be made, NIL deals, attached to it. And so Nebraska's got to stick to their plan and make sure that it's executed to the, highest efficiency as possible because, it's a great time. It's an uneasy time. But, when you made some improvement at the two most crucial parts on your team, which is the offensive and defensive line, it's a little bit easier to get out there and go out and recruit some more offensive and defensive linemen, but then also go out there and hopefully cherry pick at players that fit your model of whatever position that they're playing. So it's not necessarily about the big names. It's about the guys that come in and play big and play well in your system. That will lead to more wins here next year, and that's what they're trying to do.
And that's why I think Nebraska might be better served by taking a look at some proven guys from the group of 5 level, whether it's at a skill position or along a line they're looking to take that step up and maybe take the next step in their development. But Jay, you mentioned the timeline. We think there's a big rush in the transfer portal, but really the window for players is simply to put their name into the portal, not to make a decision. Yeah. So what is the timeline? When would Nebraska, like to have decisions? Is it anytime before spring ball, or would you like these guys on campus by the time classes start in January?
I can't speak for them, but for me, if I was a coach, I'd like to have, I'm sure they, they have, some intel on all of them and want to see where people are at, when they get in the portal. And that's why you've, seen them flying around and possibly visiting with all these kids. And then they're probably, people they've visited with that hasn't, made, it on Twitter or on the, the message boards or anything like that. So what they're trying to do is just to see where people are at. And obviously, you want to make the decision, in my opinion, as soon as possible. Now, not a rash decision, but, at some point, decisions need to be made, and, as fast or however long it took you to get in the transfer portal, on both sides. You can't wait too long and try to slow play, a player or players. And then the players can't wait too long and try to slow play, universities or football teams, because sooner or later the music stops, right? You're playing musical chairs. That's what essentially the transfer portal is. And you want to get into the situation that is the best situation for you and the team, because if you go in there and it's only one-sided, the relationship never works. And so, it's an interesting time, for Nebraska, but it's also a very positive time. If it's handled correctly, they'll be able to be successful and, turn things around. So, in my opinion, I'd like to see whoever I picked up, especially at the quarterback position, but generally all of them. Now, obviously academics and sometimes guys just through like the semesters and quarter system can't come in January, but right. I'd like to have majority of my guys there as soon as possible. Why is that? Because you want them on campus. You want them to get them into your system. Obviously you want them on campus so they're here, right? And you want them to get into the team and just blend into what has already been established. And then if they are leaders, then that will just kind of organically, take over. And so the more that you get them here, the faster that you'd like to think that they can get into the playbook, learn the players, learn the campus, learn the, where they're going to go, like shop, grocery shopping and all that. The transition that you want as soon as possible, because the sooner that they transition into Lincoln, the University of Nebraska, so forth and so on, the faster the results on the field come. And then also it allows everybody else to make more educated and mutual beneficial decisions for not only the players and the coaches or players and the coaches as far as their position group, moving forward, as you try to move towards that 85. And so decisions need to be made, and, time rests for, wait for nobody. And ultimately, if I was in the portal on the flip side, I would have liked to think I jumped in there with a good plan, an idea of where I'd like to go. And then also, when I was going to make a very, clear, concise, and, rather quick decision, because if I was transferring from either a group of 5 school or a Power 5 school, I've been on a ton of recruiting trips. I know what to look for. You have the ability to reach out to former players and evaluate things more quickly from afar, even though you're across the country or at a different location. So, I think, that's why I would want the horseplay to be done. Yes, you can go visit other people. They can come visit you. I don't know how it all works and, official visits and all that, but, there's not much you can learn about Nebraska, after you visited that, besides, obviously you want to get to know the coaches, see the kind of the crop of athletes you might have and opportunity and who can help you, get to where you want. If you ultimately, your goal is to get to the NFL, that's going to be there. But you know that because before, you can look at the coaching staff, you can look at prior success, but then also you got to be able to project where you possibly could go based on the opportunity. So, there's homework to be done on both ends, and it should be done, very, I wouldn't say quickly, but, time moves pretty quick because you think about it, December 7th right now, pretty soon you're going to go off and have Christmas break if they're not in it already. Finals. Then once you get into like about the 17th, 18th of December, Christmas is right around the corner. Here comes the first of the year. And next thing you know, if you have not continued along the process of making a decision, seats and positions have been established and, obviously commitments have been done. And then next thing you know, those next, 2 weeks or 10 to 14 days, pushing towards January 15th, start to move at a rapid pace. And also how it could affect you. The phone calls that were received on your end, on both ends, will not be maybe readily picked up and received if you wait too long, right? And because you got to think, no different, you ask somebody out if they're busy and stuff and they take 2 weeks to get back to you, then you got to understand that mutual interest isn't there or one-sided interest isn't there. And then therefore you move on to the next prospect because it's not like you can recruit these kids in the portal for a year and a half where they, even if they commit to somewhere, they're kind of a soft commitment to said school. It's in essentially a month and a half process. This is also going on the time that you're trying to get your early commitment class-wise. And also where it could affect, really I think the transfer portal has really affected high school recruiting, right?
Big time.
But this is where high school recruiting could affect a player or players in the transfer portal. And just play along with me. If you're a coach in a good, secure position where you don't have to win now, like kind of like Tom Allen had to this year, and just say you have a class of just say 20, and say there was a linebacker prospect, right? And say Jake Foreman was in the portal, and I'm trying to go on the tour, and I'm, slow playing guys and ghosting people, so forth and so on, and just say the number 4 ranked high school prospect that was previously committed to say Michigan or Ohio State decides to not go there because the defensive coordinator got a job, the linebacker coach got fired, or there's a change in philosophy. And say Nebraska was their third choice, right? Well, then the coach could say, you know what, I'll take that dude right there. Even though I might be a little bit more established, say I wasn't a full year starter, I say I started 4 games, that's not an amount of games of production to where you're like, you know what, we're going to hold this door open on this train that's moving in a positive direction for a guy in the portal where we know a guy that wants to come here we were in their final 3 and we continue to work the process. And so therefore that's how it could work the other way around. So you have to be able to evaluate all angles of this process because it can get very, very lonely being in the portal. There's thousands of kids in the portal, or will be thousands of kids in the portal that never play football again. And to me, that's a travesty that you had a place where you could get an education, play football, then somehow you jump in there without a plan, opportunity, or a process, or the ability to humble yourself that you might have to go down to get back up, right? And so you be careful what you wish for because I always say this, for every Justin Fields, Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., there's a ton of guys that go in there with nowhere to go. Now, sometimes you're kind of nudged in there, right?
Right.
But you don't have to go. You're nudged in there, but then if you let emotions, impulsive reactions, and all that stuff get in the way, then you'll be lost in the vortex of this transfer portal with nowhere to go and nowhere to land. And then therefore you've squandered a huge opportunity. But, even before all that, Austin, really to be honest with you, all this stuff, the transfer portal, NIL, gets taken care of if you take football seriously. And what I mean by that is it's very hard for a coach to nudge a player into the transfer portal if he comes in, works as hard as he can, is a good teammate, good student, and then it's shown minimal improvement, right? That's just the basics. I call that just for your key card to wait. There's too many things of, I got here, I don't have instant success, the coach doesn't like me, and therefore it's the coach's fault. Now, look, we've had other situations to where around here where coaches and coaching staff have turned the page on guys really quickly. But in this situation with a head coach with a 9-year contract, a staff that he handpicked, you'd like to think the development, which, Matt Rule has said, I don't know how many different times we have to develop these guys. They are understanding what you get as a 18, 19-year-old freshman, and sometimes 17-year-old freshman isn't what's going to be as a 21 or a 20, 21, 22-year-old redshirt sophomore or junior, where you expect them to make a huge jump and be a pretty big factor on the field. And so, reality and being realistic in your expectations have to be paramount, but it's something that, is not going to go away. It's going to continue to ramp up, and the transfer portal is filling up. And I guess the easy part is when the door closes, then you could really sit there and start plucking guys off. But until that happens, I think it's going to be a, wait and see, and, wait till you're kind of picked. But you could get picked, but you have to accept that pick. It's kind of like, you're going out, throwing the line in the water, they bite on it, and then if you want to reel them in and bring them in, that's ultimately what happens, I think, around January 15th when guys are in camp.
One last thing for you, Jay, before we go to break here real quick, is that as you look at what Nebraska's looking for out of the transfer portal, I think it boils down to, for me to think this transfer portal cycle is a success for Nebraska, they need 4 positions. With the roster being pretty full with a 26-man recruiting class, I think Nebraska needs, at a baseline, 4 guys: a quarterback, a wide receiver 1, a 1A or 1B running back, and then a linebacker. Am I missing anything? Did I add one that you don't have on your list? What does Nebraska football need out of the transfer portal?
I mean, that's a pretty good list. I'd throw, if they got a corner or somebody, a corner that they really like or really think they can come in and replace the Quentin Newsom, I think that would be it as well. You can't have enough cover guys. I can say that much. Maybe that's it. And, wide receiver 1 is kind of the eyes of the beholder, right? Can a guy get open off of press covers? Can he make a 50-50 catch? Can he be the guy you can depend on, not only to get open, make the timely catch, but then also be a factor in the run game? I think one of the things that, really stood out was the offensive line made some improvement, but we need to get a little bit better blocking on the edges. And I can't say that fully, because I saw a lot of the runs where, they really block well on the edges. And I think everybody on the offense really needs to take a vow not to be that guy that continues to allow, the direct access to the run play, their direct access to, the jailbreak screen, to the smoke screen, to the bubble screen. If you do that, then everything becomes a little bit easier to do on offense. And so instead of being 2nd and 8, you're always at 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7, even sometimes 2nd and 5. You've seen Nebraska's offense be a lot better, look a lot different when you're in, at or ahead of the chains. And so, you can't, it's not about, obviously catching, and it's hard, really, Austin, to really, before we go to break, is like, which one do you need first, right? Do you need the receiver first to attract the quarterback, or do you need the quarterback to attract the receiver? I think if you can get both the same, and, I think the sooner the better, right? Because I think if I'm a receiver and we have a quarterback that's appealing to play with, along with the system, that ramps up my decision making. But then on the quarterback, if they get, Jay Foreman or whatever as a receiver, like, okay, I think I can throw to that guy. I see they got some young, good receivers that were explosive last year at times, and the potential to get Marcus Washington back. Then I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I can see what they're doing, along with the development of our tight ends and the incoming guys. I kind of see where we're going. Then therefore, you can almost knock out 2 birds with 1 stone just with one decision.
That's Jay Foreman on the Allo VIP line. We'll go to break here on Old School, brought to you by the Mercado. Be right back with more. Another half an hour or so to go here before we turn it over to Ticket Weeknights. Once again, he's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. This is Old School on 93.7 The Ticket.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Concrete Industries, a Nebco company, has immediate job openings for precast production laborers. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $20 per hour and a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer. Visit concreteindustries.com.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Don't miss the most innovative ag technology that exists today on display in Lincoln at the Nebraska Ag Expo, the second largest indoor ag show in the U.S., December 5th, 6th, and 7th. Check out all the latest technology in row crop and livestock production, robotics, and more at the expanded Innovation Hub. Mark your calendar. That's December 5th, 6th, and 7th. Register online at NebraskaAgExpo.com to get your tickets in advance and save $5. See you in Lincoln. The Nebraska Ag Expo is sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Hi, I'm Steve Carper for O Street Carpet. For Christmas, we're doing everything possible to help you spruce up your home without making a dent in your holiday budget. If you need new wood flooring, new carpet, ceramic tile, vinyl, area rugs, or custom blinds, you want to shop at O Street Carpet. We offer 12 months same-as-cash financing, Lincoln's best selection in stock, free in-home measuring, and we'll install it right away. 1732 O Street. We want to make you a customer for life.
Golfing in 72 degrees in perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in December, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book your holiday parties at Double Eagle Golf and make plans to join them for a New Year's Eve party. Gift cards make a great stocking stuffer for Christmas, and don't forget to look ahead to 2024 as spring leagues begin in February. That's all at Double Eagle Golf, inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street, online at doubleeagle.golf.
Your Christmas list changes a lot as you get older. Dreams of video games, remote control cars, and baseball gloves turn into dreams of shoes. You know, practical things. Brown Shoe Fit is the king of shoes in Lincoln, with brands like Sorel, UGG, Brooks, Hoka, and more to make you fashionable and comfortable. Grab a new Ridge wallet or buy 3, get 1 free on Smart Wool socks for the ultimate stocking stuffer. And don't forget a reliable gift card for that hard-to-buy person in your life. Brown Shoe Fit at 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Husker fans, the Nebraska women's basketball team battles the Indiana Hoosiers on Sunday, January 7th at Pinnacle Bank Arena, and they want to see you there. Help them pack PBA as they retire Jordan Hooper's jersey, host a team reunion for the 2013 and 2014 teams, and give your Huskers a true home court advantage. For tickets, go to huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED. Come early and get your very own replica Jordan Hooper jersey retirement banner while supplies last. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets. Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back in effect. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School. We're here live at 1040 O Street. No, Austin already said we were brought to you by the Mercado. Tomorrow's Friday. They got specials Friday. Check out their website. They'll let you know what's popping for lunch. Covered a little transfer portal. I'm sure when you had Eastrick on, you guys talked about the game last night. I watched the basketball game and I was still shocked that they end up losing. Obviously they had a 15-point lead and then you end up losing by 11. That's a pretty big turnaround. Obviously they went a lot cold or went seriously cold in the second half. I think the biggest thing that stood out to me was an increase in intensity by the Minnesota Gophers.
Mm-hmm.
They just were playing. And it wasn't like they started the second half with just an enormous amount of energy. They made a couple plays. They hit a big three to get within 5, and then right there, they just never let up. And then when Nebraska got it down close again, when they were down by like 4 or 5, and then Minnesota made a couple plays, we missed a couple shots. I think the shots were a little bit too quick, but ultimately, Joshua Ola-Joseph really was huge on the offensive boards. He had 5 offensive rebounds. That's all he had. He didn't have one defensive rebound. 5 extra possessions, and I think 4 of them were in the second half. So that's right there is huge. Nebraska is obviously always going to be, a lot of things are going to be predicated on their ability to rebound the basketball. And so it was 32-32 in rebounds, but Minnesota had 3 more offensive rebounds.
And it felt like Nebraska got its butt kicked on the boards because of how that second half went. I mean, you get the offensive rebounds, which has been sliding for Nebraska. The rebounding hasn't been as good over the last, couple weeks or so. You give up 14 second chance points on 13 offensive rebounds. More than a point per extra possession isn't good. And you couple that with 18 turnovers. Yes, you force 16 from Minnesota, but Minnesota ends up getting 24 points off of turnovers because so many of them were live ball.
Yeah.
And they were careless. They were sloppy turnovers that are easily avoidable and should be easily avoidable for any team, let alone a veteran team like Nebraska that's supposed to be able to handle those runs and not let them happen.
Well, there's 3 stats, Austin, that leads you to getting your butt kicked on the road for a team to win at home, right? What you just said, second chance points, but listen, there are second chance points, 14-8 Minnesota. Okay, that's 6 right there. Fast break points, 11-8.
There's 3.
Okay. Even more importantly, right? Bench points, 27-20. If you would have told me Minnesota's bench outscored Nebraska's bench, I would have probably slapped you upside your head. Not realistically, but there's no way, right?
Metaphorically slapped,
So right there, second chance points, fast break points, generally bench points, especially from the home team, are energy points, right? Putbacks and ones, but, like Strick said, butt naked threes, wide open threes. Well, there you go. That's it. That's the difference. Now, look.
12 points from 2 different guys off the bench for Minnesota, but Nebraska really just got contributions from Juwan Gary, and then C.J. Wilcher had like 20 minutes in the first half where he was good. But Mitchell made plays in the first and second half, And then Payne coming off the bench helped own the rebounds as well.
Yeah, he's a big kid. He's a Minnesota kid. 6'10", 250 pounds. That's a lot to move. I mean, Minnesota did a really good job on Alec, right? He only had 2 shots, and they did a really good job on Rick Mast, right? 2 of 7. And then obviously K-State, right, you went over. Over. I mean, you can't do that if you're going to be the lead dog. Now, it was a good spark. You had Jamarcus Lawrence and Bryce Williams. I thought Bryce Williams was really going to get off. He had 15 points in the first half, 3 in the second. Missed a lot of bunnies, but still, that's a positive for him to be, effective. And then you had Juwan Gary. You could say he's bench points, but he's actually a starter, right? And so that's where Nebraska lost it. I mean, their bench looked a little short. You got to think it was just C.J. Wilson, Juwan Gary, and Sam Hoiberg. Coleman and Jacobson really, count their bench minutes, and really Sam Hoiberg didn't really play that much. And so, maybe if you want to go back and look at things to do when you see K-State really struggling. I mean, that dude was in his hip pocket, and he was physical. Carrington was. Maybe that's when you really bring in Sam Hoiberg and have him run the point, and then really try to take the pressure off of Williams, because he was bringing the ball up at more times than not this game versus in the past. So maybe he ran out of gas, and maybe that'll give you a little bit of spark. Look, we got 20/20 vision right now. Ultimately, Nebraska got their butt kicked. There's no, you could talk about refs. You could do all this other stuff. I know there was a couple stops and all this, all the nonsense. At the end of the day, you went up there and got your butt kicked the second half.
After you were kicking butt the first half.
Look, the game ain't over till it's over. This Minnesota team, and you got a coach that's fighting for their life and fighting for his coaching life right there. He's a local product. They brought him back, thought that he was going to uptick the local recruiting, which he has, but it hasn't been the top players, which is a funny thing about Minnesota. They'll get mad at him for not forgetting it, but these dudes are getting recruited by Duke and all this other stuff.
Matthew Hurt goes to Duke, Suggs goes to Gonzaga.
Right.
Yeah.
And Chet, goes to Gonzaga. And these guys are number 1 picks in the draft. I mean, you can't really fault them.
Right.
And then obviously the ghost of Rick Pitino Jr., what he laid in there wasn't as probably sweet as you thought it was. That's all fine and dandy. You got to know the situation. You know what this game reminded me of? It reminded me of when the Nebraska football team went up to East Lansing.
That's funny you say that, because it reminded me of Nebraska basketball against Michigan State last year. Great first half, and then you don't adjust in the second.
Right, but see, you expect that from Michigan State, though, right? And because they got NBA players, and I equated the Michigan State game last year to the Creighton game.
Yeah,
phenomenal offensive movement. Nebraska wasn't really that off on defensive rotations, right? The first half defensive rotation by Nebraska was on point. Then you just let up a little bit. You got your butt kicked. You went up there and you thought you had 15 points. You thought they were going to lay over. It's a hard lesson to learn, especially coming off at loss. That's where you'd like to see the maturity and a little bit more of, step on their throat, dagger in the heart type of mentality to get over the hump. And so
win those first 4 minutes, right? Make Minnesota quit.
Yeah, they were. The funny thing about it is Michigan State game in football and the Minnesota game basketball, those teams are ready to quit. Now, look, you're not playing them at the end of the year, and Minnesota is like 6-20. They're still 5-3, so they felt like they got a winning record and they want to defend their own home court. They battled you tough last year. They battled you tough the year before. So it's just a styles make fights. They're a bigger team than us, right? They are. They're a bigger, physical,
and more
athletic, but they're big and long. So you have to be able to stay on point with your game plan. The same way that you got up by, here's the one thing I always tell kids when I'm coaching. The same way we got up by 15 is the same way we got to come back from being down 15. And Nebraska lost their way, forced some shots, a couple quick threes that were just untimely. It's great if they make them, but I think of some of those shots, were shots that, like, okay, I got the ball, I have to shoot it. Well, you just got over it. You just finally got a rebound or a break. Now you come down, you're barely down, not even be able to run your sets, and you force some shots up. I felt like their cutting wasn't as crisp.
No.
So then therefore their passing wasn't as crisp. I felt like their spacing was off, you know what I mean? Or not as good as it should be. And result is that then you have a team like Minnesota that brings it to you from an energy standpoint. You get on that plane with a lot of regret. And so it has to be addressed. It has to be an individual choice to get it together, and then it will be a team choice. And it's not like you're not going to get any new players. you got to start playing a little bit better. I don't think you're going to have too many games where Keisei Tominaga is 0 for essentially no rebounds, because he kind of goes in there and gets a couple rebounds and, only has 4 points and 1 turnover and has a -11, plus minus rate. I don't think that's going to happen.
It can't happen because Nebraska, I think, needs to find new ways to use him. I think teams know what Nebraska has done with Keisei in the past. I think they have to get creative with him if they want him to be a feature guy.
Right.
He was last year. I think playing off of Griesel and Walker was good for him. Right. I like Nebraska's passing ability now more as a team, but I think Griesel and Walker were better passers on their own than anyone Nebraska has right now that helped set Keisei up. So either Nebraska has to feature Keisei as a pick and roll ball handler, run sets for him, or what they have to do is view him as maybe like that spark off the bench, that spot up shooter type of guy, and not force getting him involved, force defenses to commit that much attention to him, and then get other guys rolling to open up some more of those shots for him.
Yeah, they're going to have to get their roles defined and reevaluated and try some different things. You really could get into a pick and roll. Him and Rink Mass could really help. Or you want to get a pick and dive or a drive and dive with Josiah Alec to really kind of try to punch holes in the defense.
PBA would blow up if you get Keisei throwing a lob to Josiah Alec. Those are two fan favorites.
Right. Well, but that's what you need. You need to start. I always call it the Sherman Williams effect. You got to start pounding the paint, man, and to get open shots, not the rush threes. Maybe you put Juwan Gary in there because he started last year. I mean, look, the team went through a little bit of lull when he got hurt. And so he seems like he's improved his outside shot. Think he's in better shape now, and so and he gives you a little bit more edge too, right? So you got to try different things to get a spark. Then you could maybe double back to it. But I think how they use Keisei, and then Keisei also finding different ways to be more effective in what he does is something that they have to address, and probably think they probably went over. I'm sure if they have film study today or the next time they have film study. So it was, definitely it was disappointing, nevertheless, because essentially everybody in Minnesota had a huge plus minus. And the funny thing about it is the guy that had the lowest plus minus was Dawson Garcia, and he's the one that got hurt. And that's the dude you had to worry about.
Except he was on the scouting report, but I think he was a better matchup for Nebraska. I think Nebraska liked Dawson Garcia on the floor because they could answer him with either Alec or Max.
Sure.
They didn't have the physical answer. They didn't have the energetic answer. Or the emotional answer to Payne and Ola Joseph specifically. Minnesota
and Carrington
knew that was Minnesota knew that was its advantage over Nebraska. As soon as Dawson Garcia went out, Ben Johnson let those guys cook. He said, just go to work on the boards. And they did.
Well, the thing is we have Braden Carrington. I'm going to let you shoot as much as possible. Right? His jumper was off. And then I'm going to let Mike Mitchell shoot. Two guys that just let them shoot. They'll shoot you right out of the game. We didn't adjust to it. And essentially, we paid too much attention to them. Then Ola Joseph got off. And then you got Payne getting off because he's able to get those weak side rebounds and be effective. And so, all that's being said, when you get, essentially, Nebraska gave up 52 points to Minnesota in the second half of basketball. That's forget the scoring, right? Forget the scoring. Just don't even worry about scoring. There's not too many teams that I would say that would do that to Nebraska. So then it came down to a want to and locking in. And so that's where you saw against Creighton, where they went on the run. You weren't able to kind of – last year I felt like they were able to depend on their defense to keep them in the game until the offense got going. They figured it out.
Yeah.
The Derek Walker loss is huge, along with the Sam Griesel. You have to find people to play those roles within themselves. That's what made Nebraska dangerous. Coming down the stretch and in the Big Ten, they have more depth. It's almost like sometimes they have like too many guards.
Oh yeah.
So, but then okay, if you got too many guards, you either got to play to that personnel, or you got to find ways to put people in positions that play with it, or the guards play around them. So that's Rink Mass, Josiah Alec, so forth and so on. Juwan Gary, maybe take Juwan Gary and put him at the high post. I feel like he can finish good. Another thing that jumped out, I don't think they finished strong enough. They didn't play with enough force when they got around the rim.
They haven't all year.
I know, but that's a problem.
It's obvious last night when you get blocked 7 times and you go 12 of 22 on layups. But it's just, I think, the biggest example of Nebraska hasn't done that all year.
Yeah, but you got to find it within yourself to play a little bit more grimy.
Oh, yeah.
Like they did last year.
Mhm.
Getting on the floor, a little bit more grimy. And that's an individual choice, but then also it's a team. It's got to be more of a team
commitment.
And, don't let last year being average or getting close last year come out this year thinking you sweet. Then you're going to have you be coming down the stretch trying to with your back against the wall. You got to get it turned around right now. So good basketball segment. We're about to take it to a break, come back, short segment, then turn it over to Ticket Weeknights. I'm not sure. Is Strick and Cluster going?
Strick and Cluster will go.
Okay, good. Okay, then we got WTF, and then I'm not sure what's after that. So Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this holiday season at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through December 12th are spend $740 and get a free New York strip. Also, through the 12th, all Flavor County Farms mushrooms are $1.50 off of normal price. Don't forget their 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Hi, I'm Steve Carper for O Street Carpet. For Christmas, we're doing everything possible to help you spruce up your home without making a dent in your holiday budget. If you need new wood flooring, new carpet, ceramic tile, vinyl, area rugs, or custom blinds, you want to shop at O Street Carpet. We offer 12-month same-as-cash financing, Lincoln's best selection in stock, free in-home measuring, and we'll install it right away. 1732 O Street. We want to make you a customer for life.
Constructors Inc., a Nebco company, is now hiring heavy equipment mechanics to maintain fleet equipment and vehicle operations. Constructors offers mechanics a competitive salary, 4-day work weeks with overtime options, a $5,000 hiring bonus, a tool allowance, and great benefits. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. Apply today for their mechanic positions. Visit constructorslincoln.com. Husker fans, the Nebraska women's basketball team battles the Indiana Hoosiers on Sunday, January 7th at Pinnacle Bank Arena, and they want to see you there. Help them pack PBA as they retire Jordan Hooper's jersey, host a team reunion for the 2013 and 2014 teams, and give your Huskers a true home court advantage. For tickets, go to huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED. Come early and get your very own replica Jordan Hooper jersey retirement banner while supplies last. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets. Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in December, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book your holiday parties at Double Eagle Golf and make plans to join them for a New Year's Eve party. Gift cards make a great stocking stuffer for Christmas, and don't forget to look ahead to 2024 as spring leagues begin in February. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street, online at doubleeagle.golf.
Your Christmas list changes a lot as you get older. Dreams of video games, remote control cars, and baseball gloves turn into dreams of shoes. You know, practical things. Brown Shoe Fit is the king of shoes in Lincoln, with brands like Sorel, UGG, Brooks, Hoka, and more to make you fashionable and comfortable. Grab a new Ridge wallet or buy 3, get 1 free on Smart Wool socks for the ultimate stocking stuffer. And don't forget a reliable gift card for that hard-to-buy person in your life. Brown Shoe Fit at 66th and Q in Lincoln.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
It's 3 games for the price of 2. Don't miss a Western Conference Finals rematch between the Lincoln Stars and the Fargo Force, December 8th through 10th at the Icebox. You can purchase a December weekend package now to lock in your seats for all 3 games while only paying for the value of 2 of them. Skate on down to the Icebox or head to lincolnstars.com to purchase your tickets today.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Call your local State Farm agent Vinny Krekak at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Blecker and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Jay Foreman, Austin Orman? We're back. Quick segment here. What time is it, Austin?
5 till.
Yeah, 5 till. Okay, we got about 2 minutes. Breaking news: John Rahm decided he left the PGA Tour to go to Live Golf for I don't know how many years. We got $300 million.
3 years, $300 million.
3 years, $300 million, and he's got ownership in Live Golf. And so I think he'll make it on both ends. He's going to make $300 million, and then if the PGA Tour buys Live Golf, then he makes it back then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think part of the reason why he got frustrated, I remember him talking about it, and they don't really last year, was he stayed with the PGA Tour with the assumption that things would be done a certain way, and they weren't. Now, I think the PGA Tour is structured different. They don't have the endless amount of money, which they don't, and they added money to it, but they, say, look, we can't go back and ask these sponsors to have the type of turn.
They don't have the GDP of Saudi Arabia.
No, and they have multiple. I mean, they have twice to 3 times as many tournaments. So I wonder if he's the first of many. It allows Liv to have a little bit more strength to go back to the negotiating table. I think they need to have something done by the new year. I don't know if they're going to extend it. I'm sure the Zoom calls are out of control right now. It's probably not a good day down there in Jacksonville, Florida, PGA Tour headquarters. Actually, they're moving to Dallas, Frisco, Texas, but
I think that's an upgrade.
It is. Lisa,
I know there's not a lot of affinity for Dallas everywhere, but out of Jacksonville.
Yeah, out of Jacksonville. It's definitely not a good time for him, but good. Yeah, John Rahm said he made a decision for him and his family. I mean, get $300 million, hit a little golf ball around. You only got to play 3 days a week. And he probably gets into most of the majors for a little while.
Right, and that's just the thing. What's the downside for him right now? There really isn't one. Down the line, maybe, but right now, you can take that paycheck.
Look, John Rahm has a little bit more strength to get back on the PGA Tour if he chooses so in 3 years versus Jay Foreman or anybody like that that's over there. And, like Taylor Gooch and all those guys. So, look, man, you thought there was going to be a partnership. Obviously, this is a shot over the bow that if I was the PGA Tour, I'd wonder if you were negotiating in good faith that we were going to do something.
Right.
Because a $300 million contract isn't decided in a day or two because there's some stipulations.
I don't know, Jay. I could decide to say yes to $300 million.
I could, but I think John Rahm was making sure there was no loopholes in his stuff. So it takes a while. That's all I'm saying, while you're trying to get a partnership going. So anyways, old school, we're turning it over to WTF, Plester and East Strick. We'll take it to the 7 o'clock hour, and then it'll be ticket week nights for after that. So we'll be back tomorrow to put a bow on this week. Jay Foreman, Austin, Old School. We'll holler at you.
Concrete Industries, a Nebco company, has immediate job openings for precast production laborers. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $20 per hour and a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-4